If you are afraid of heights, you have come to the wrong podcast episode, because this one was recorded on the rooftops of Paris. And when I say the rooftops, I don't mean like some balcony on top of a department store. I'm talking about the top of a roof among the chimney pots looking out over all of Paris. My special guest, Raphael Metivet, a French photographer who's made a name for himself for taking these daring pictures of Paris like you've probably never seen it before, and who's followed online by over 100,000 people, and that's just on Instagram. So if you want to follow his stuff while you're listening, it's RAPHAEL METIVET, Raphael Metivet. But more on this episode in a second. First, this podcast doesn't have boring old adverts and sponsors at all. In fact, it's independently run, so I can say whatever I like. So today's episode is brought to you by the lovely people who leave reviews for the podcast. Yeah, that's right. They're the ones who brought this episode to you. I'm going to read you one because it's kind of relevant before we get into it. This is from Tate, Jacob and Sam via Apple Podcast in Australia. Sounds like a couple of people, Tate, Jacob, and maybe 3 people. And they write, my favorite podcast, 5 stars. I love this podcast. It uplifts you and allows you to be in Paris without actually being there. The mix of guests is great, and I especially love the episodes with the sounds of Paris in the back. Well, Tate, Jacob, and Sam, this one is for you. You're going to hear a lot of Paris in the background, but seriously, guys, leave a review. It gives me something to read, and I guess it helps convince new people to give a listen. That's who the episode was brought to you by. Fancy that. No mattress ads here. Now, let's get on with it. Today's guest, Raphael, 27 years old and followed by 127,000 people on Instagram. Imagine that. But I'm not surprised. He takes absolutely wonderful pictures of Paris from up on the rooftops. How does he get up there? Does he ever get in trouble? Does he see anything suspicious or romantic through the windows? All this will be revealed to you as you listen. And in this episode, you're going to hear us right from when I met him on the street. After recording, we chose not to give away the exact address. So we've kind of edited it out. You might still be able to figure it out. Who knows? But what you're going to hear is me meeting Raphael on the street, sneaking into the building, sneaking onto the rooftop, and then recording the episode. You'll be able to hear a lot of Paris in the background. But the one thing I do want to stress is that even though I maybe make it sound frightening and dangerous, and maybe the pictures look a little bit dangerous, especially if you're afraid of heights, this was quite safe indeed. It was a flat rooftop. There was plenty of space. I didn't go anywhere near the edge. Neither did Raphael. So don't worry. And don't send in messages that you're worried for me. And especially don't send messages to my mother that you're worried for me, because I'll never live it down. Guys, I'm going to take you to the Boulevard where I met Raphael and where this episode begins. And remember to hang around at the end of the episode for some exciting things coming up on this show. Here we go. Raphael.
Hey,
nice
Oliver.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How are you?
Great.
So,
are you excited?
I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay.
Is that usual?
It's supposed to be like this, yeah.
Okay.
I'm also a bit scared, of not being able to bring you on the roof.
But for the people at home, I'm not sure if we'll be able to say this, but what is the address right now?
It's the Boulevard de...
And the doorway is amazing.
Yeah, have you seen the details?
That to me looks like a...
Yeah, exactly.
And to the side is 2...
Yeah, you're right.
Paris is beautiful from the ground.
Yeah, you have so many details to look at.
So why are we going to the top floor?
Because it's even better from the rooftops, obviously. Wait, follow me, someone is going out of the building.
Okay, we just go in?
Yeah, we're going to sneak right after him.
Okay, we're in the elevator. What are we waiting for? What's happening?
So we're going to the last floor of the building and hope to find a ladder to go on the roof.
Okay, and we gotta keep our voices down, right?
Yeah. We must not be spotted by the neighbors.
Okay, we'll whisper then.
Yeah, we'll whisper.
Okay, I'll follow you. Are you nervous?
Never nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm nervous.
Don't be.
Okay. Okay, there's a ladder. Oh my god, what an amazing view. Well, where's the best place to stand? And let's talk about what we can see as well. Oh my goodness.
Look at this here, it's beautiful. This part we see the Notre Dame.
Okay, there's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Next to it, the Panthéon.
Panthéon, and then the Saint-Jacques Tower.
Wow, it seems so close from up here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, but we honestly have... Okay.
And that's on one side, and on the other side we have the Sacred Heart Basilica.
I think you cut out a lot in between there, my friend.
There are all the small churches. I'm not sure if I remember all of them.
Saint-Chapelle, that's the Saint-Chapelle right there.
Yeah, but you've been cutting too. There you have the Conciergerie on the left. You have... this one is the Théâtre du Châtelet, so Châtelet Theatre.
And for the folks at home, we've only talked about, if it was 360 degrees view, which it is, we've talked about 5% so far.
Yeah, exactly.
We can see everything. That's the Tour Montparnasse, there's the Eiffel Tower. That's
the Louvre, you have the roof of the Louvre, just in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yeah.
The big domes. And this one is Saint-Eustache Church, which is really big. You can see it from the roof, how big it is.
It's huge, it's enormous. And then this is the main street we just came in on.
Yeah.
And then there's the Opéra.
Opéra Garnier.
There's the Sacré-Cœur is huge. Stands out above everything.
That's how you see, like from the roof, the proportions of each monument. It's really impressive.
Wow. That one's pretty cool. You've taken photos of that before.
Yeah, this one is I forgot. It's
that's Réaumur.
Rue Réaumur, ouais.
Right. I used to live just down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The view wasn't as good, but I had an amazing because I was on the 7th floor.
Ah, that's nice.
So now, folks, we've done 180 degrees. If we were to continue around,
this part is a bit less interesting.
That's true. I'm facing the right way. And there's
this horrible Pompidou Museum. I mean, can you see how it's standing out of all the other monuments?
It kind of looks like a shopping trolley.
Yeah.
Like because I think it's under renovation there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be closed for a few years. So.
And we're standing amid, I would say, like really close to us are like 30 of those terracotta chimney pots, and we're standing on one of the lead rooftops, the famous sort of silver-colored rooftops, and around us we can see
it's a sea of rooftops and chimneys.
There must be a million.
Okay, here it gets a bit more slippery.
Okay.
Look at this part, it's really a nice landscape.
Is that
it's Boulevard Sébastopol.
Okay. Wow.
And this is the Mairie de Paris.
Oh, that's my favorite building.
Yeah.
Except you can only see the top of it, which is unusual view, because usually you think of it from standing out the front and it's so big and beautiful.
And the roofs look like some big Renaissance castle roof. So
yeah. I saw a book the other day described it as a sumptuous neo-Renaissance building.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Have you been inside?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
There's someone who listens to this show who took me inside when it was closed.
Oh, well, you're lucky.
Oh, man, I know.
I had to go during the European days and it was overcrowded.
Oh, my gosh. So what are you thinking now? Are you thinking, I hope no one sees us? Are you thinking I'm looking for someone to photograph or an angle?
So now I start to be stressed and that someone finds us or sees us from the facades in front of us.
Yeah, because you think they'll call the police?
I mean, usually they call the police, yeah. So half of the time they are friendly, but usually they are not very happy to see us in front.
So when you take pictures of people in their balconies who are waving to you, how do you build up that rapport to know that they want...
So we wave at them and we show the cameras, and when they are friendly they wave back, and you would be surprised by the number of times they write their numbers on a piece of paper.
Okay.
And so we can send them the pictures. It happened twice this week, for example. Yeah, it happens really quite often.
But how often are you on the rooftops?
Well, these days I think 2 or 3 times per week.
Wow.
I mean, it's quite addictive. Before I used to shoot from the streets of Paris, and for maybe 4 to 8 hours a day, I was really addicted to this city. But at some point, you get a bit not bored, but you've seen the places over and over again, so you need something new.
A new perspective.
A new perspective, and being on the rooftops is obviously a completely new experience.
Yeah. Is there a rooftop that you really want to get on that you've never been on before?
Yes, the one from the Opéra Garnier, for example.
As in, just anywhere up? Oh man.
Yeah.
That looks steep up there, though.
No, it's not.
No?
It's not. You have some sort of a terrace.
Yeah.
And I've seen several people going on this one. So.
Is it just about knowing the right person, or is it sneaking up there when you're not allowed to go? Or
It depends if you want to do it the legal way.
yeah,
I have a few friends who went there sneaking in.
yeah.
But then you can, if you're an artist, you can have a chance to go there. But very famous people have the access.
Yeah.
Can access the roof.
What about? I saw that you've been to the Australian embassy,
Yeah,
the
because I was
ambassador's residence.
yeah,
How did you manage that?
because I was studying for 1 year in Sydney in Macquarie University, and of course I loved it. And so I was part of their alumni students. So they invited me for it was what was it? I think it was a fundraiser and event, and we had the chance to be in the office of the ambassador, and that's where you have this incredible view. So to describe to the people listening, it's the view of the Eiffel Tower, and on the right you have the Sacred Heart Basilica. But
Hang on, but I think you have to say the Eiffel Tower is so close you could almost lick it.
Yeah, it's
Like
on
it's
the
there.
it's
Yeah.
really impressively close, and the Sacred Heart Basilica is so far away in comparison that it looks very like almost photoshopped on the picture, but
Yeah.
it's not. And this one is really a unique view. Huh?
I saw your picture from there on Instagram, and what kind of zoom? I'm not an expert on this stuff, but how did you do it? Like, is there-
No, this one was quite regular zoom.
Yeah.
It's the one you can use in the street, so I was not zooming in excessive.
they seem to like you.
Yeah,
That was cool.
I mean, it's quite the aesthetic of Vogue as well.
That's true.
It's really sleek, and it fits for their magazine, I think. So
Does that mean that I'm sleek as well if I'm
Yeah,
interviewing?
you are.
Yeah, oh wow. But I read in your interview that you said that you like to photograph the Tour Saint-Jacques.
yeah, Tour Saint-Jacques is
Can you
one of
explain
the few monuments that is very underrated. Very few people know that you can visit it for a few euros, and it's one of the best because it's high enough to see the center of Paris from above, but it's not too high like the Tour Montparnasse, so you don't need a zoom to actually enjoy the view. And it has a whole history. It was part of an old church, and then it became a place where they were building the bullets. They were just dropping the iron from the top of the tower, and the fact that it felt made the bullet.
Really?
Yeah, with the density.
So they by dropping it from the top of that tower,
Yeah.
it turned into bullets.
Yeah.
So we must be talking like World War One here, I guess. This is old.
Yeah, it's really old.
This isn't modern.
It's not modern, and that's why it burned twice as well.
Oh,
So.
that's amazing.
And it was renovated for many years, so it's quite recent that we can visit it.
Speaking of burnt buildings, I hate to bring the mood down.
Oh boy, I see where you're going with this.
Let's talk a little bit about the Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Firstly, did you ever go up there while it was still open
Yes.
to the top?
Yeah. I think twice only. And unfortunately, I was not a good photographer when I went there last time.
Yeah.
So it's really basic, boring pictures that I took. So
Or like selfies, like, hey, look at me.
not selfies, but views from the city, but not like with no sense of composition whatsoever. So
Right.
it's really plain during the day, and
I want to talk more about that composition and how to take a photo. I want
Yeah.
you to teach me even. But first, I've got more about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
When I was walking there the other day, I saw that there's so much scaffolding that it made me think urban explorers and maybe photographers are climbing up there a lot, even though it's probably quite a dangerous site right now.
well, from what I've heard with my friends, it's actually the opposite. They're respecting it just for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So like even though they were used to construction sites, for Notre Dame they are not going to do it, and also because it has to be one of the most secured places of Paris. And the crane is the biggest in Europe, so I think you need to be really adventurous.
That crane there is the biggest in Europe. That one.
It's huge.
It is huge. I didn't really think
That's
that.
what I've read.
It makes sense. I mean, it's bigger than the Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's really big.
Someone emailed me once, a listener, I don't remember who, but they said, does the crane have a name? Because I think in America they name the cranes.
Oh, really?
Do you?
No, I haven't heard about this.
No, me neither. Okay.
That would be quite neat to be called the crane of Notre Dame.
It's true. So, question time.
Yeah.
What do you think of my nature up here? Do you think I strike you as a scared kind of person? A natural?
I think you're a natural, actually. Surprisingly enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have other people up here who are petrified?
Yeah, we have one or two people who are a bit more anxious when they are on the roof. a bit anxious. It really depends on the people. Like
Does that
for me,
make it
I'm
hard?
anxious because of fear of being spotted by other people. And
You've got a fear for other people being anxious, you mean? Is that what you mean?
no, I have a fear of being spotted on the
I see.
rooftop by neighbors and everything.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because is it illegal what we're doing?
It's not illegal. For example, we had the police asking us to go down several times. I think 8 times in like 5 months, which is quite a lot. But they said every time that there are no infractions, so we don't get any fine or anything. They just ask us to leave the roofs. The only thing that can happen is that if the building, the organization managing the building is going legal, but it never happens. Yeah. So
It sounds similar to me. I've heard stories about the catacombs, that it's not strictly illegal. Like you don't get a police.
I don't know
record.
about the catacombs actually. I've never done it.
No, unless you must have friends that do it.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I think like half of the people who go on the rooftops, they went or they go regularly in the catacomb.
Is this some kind of like urban exploring? Like
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like rooftops is really about photography, and catacomb is really adventure time, a bit next level.
So what happens for the people? Maybe people listening to this show who are afraid of heights, who get claustrophobia, but want to do some urban exploring. What would you recommend for them?
For 4 years I was doing public places, so you can have incredible views over Paris from, for example, the Sacred Heart Basilica. If you climb on the dome, you can have an incredible view. Tour Saint-Jacques as well. So also the terrace of the Galerie Lafayette in Haussmann. And there are so many options if you're a tourist to see in a few days' time. So it's really, you don't need to go on the rooftops to see the rooftops.
Good point.
And the Pompidou Museum as well has a terrace open to the public on the last floor.
And what do you think about Montparnasse?
Oh, it's quite an ugly building, but as you know, they are renovating it in the coming years. So it's supposed to be very light and bright.
Sure.
And it will be better for the landscape.
Let's talk a little bit about something I want to get better at, which is photography. The composition in your photos is really incredible. You take beautiful pictures.
Thank you.
And I think, over 100,000 people know this because they follow you along on Instagram on a wonderful account that everybody should check out.
Definitely.
If you're up on a rooftop like this, what do you look for to make a good photo? It's not just point and shoot, is it?
No, it's not really as simple. Well, sometimes I'm looking to get some sort of like incredible composition with 2 monuments close to each other, and that's quite the easy composition. And other times what I prefer is to capture a moment of life, so I try to have someone looking from the window or standing for a cigarette break on a balcony, and that really captures a moment that I found quite poetic. And the composition makes itself, like I try to have the roofs in the composition, the person, respect the rule of like the 3/4,
You're going to have to explain that to me a little bit.
No, this one, it's hard to explain in English. No, it's a rule of thirds.
Rule of thirds,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like when you need to put the subject in this part around here.
Okay, so we're looking at images that are cropped. It's kind of like a tic-tac-toe, noughts and crosses right through the middle of it, and you've got to aim specific bits in specific squares of those 9 squares, I guess.
But then another thing I would recommend is like focusing on symmetry. It's quite easy to do, and for example, for me, I'm not all the time right in front of the facades. Yeah. So I'm trying to correct the perspective in Lightroom to make it look like I was in front of the facade. So there's something so pleasing to see the windows all aligned, and to see one person in one window, for example, to break a bit the boring symmetry. But I focus a lot on symmetry when I edit my pictures.
I'm sure people are thinking, how long do you edit a picture for?
It depends, but actually even after years of editing, I can spend a few hours editing the pictures taken during blue hour or taken at night, because I do bracketing. I do HDR, which means like for one scene I take 3 different exposures, one a bit dark, one very bright, and one in the middle. I merge the 3 pictures, and that gives me the possibility to save the very dark areas, to make them brighter without having too much noise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why my pictures are not dark, even though they are taken at night sometimes. You would be surprised to see the before and after of some pictures. Like it could be completely yellow and black, and after editing you have the nice blue color of the roof, the white facade. So it's really, it can take a few hours to edit.
Do you think that Paris lends itself well to being photographed?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even on the ground, you can take incredible pictures. So I found it so poetic. The architecture, there's something, how do you say, timeless about it. So even if someone is walking in the street and you have this beautiful Haussmann door behind, the picture makes itself almost. So
I saw you do that in your Instagram stories recently.
Yeah.
You took a picture of a door and then everyone that was walking past it. That was cool. Were you across the road from it?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I try to have a varied style of photography. So not just rooftop pictures, because like everything, if you just do one thing, it can be boring for people.
That's why I don't just record in a studio. That's why we're sitting here.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's more fun to
you improvise, you adapt, and no, it's fun.
There are certainly people listening, my mother, for example, who are thinking, this is not safe. This is dangerous. What are you doing, young man? She's probably worried that you come up here by yourself, you might fall, no one will even know.
Yeah, it's completely understandable that some people have this worry. But once you are on the roof, it's surprisingly safe. It's not steep, it's not slippery usually, and if it's slippery, you see it immediately, and it's after it's raining, so you don't go on the rooftop when it's raining, or if it's snowing too much, you're super careful.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't jump on the roof, we are not running, so we just walk one after the other, and quite slowly actually. So we are very, very careful on the roofs.
And watching you guys today, it seems you're quite respectful as well.
Yeah, no, we try to, I mean, we never break anything, so it's not the goal. We are not painting things on walls or anything. We're just here to enjoy the view, take the most beautiful pictures we can, enjoy the moment, and without deteriorating anything.
Yeah.
Because it's quite fragile actually. The chimneys are in argile?
Clay.
Yeah, clay, sorry, I meant clay. So the clay chimneys, for example, they can be quite... like they can be broken easily, so we have to be extra careful in some places.
But these chimneys, do they work usually? Does smoke? Like I don't.
Yeah, you see the smoke from the rooftops when it's cooler than today.
But not many. Like
not many.
I've never lived in a house that had working fireplace.
Well, maybe it was not a fancy Haussmann apartment, but. No, in a few apartments where it's working, but it's definitely not the majority.
So do you think there's more smoke from the chimneys in like the 7th arrondissement than, for example, the 20th?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, interesting.
Like here, I've never seen any chimney working, but it's beautiful. That's part of the landscape when you are on the rooftops. You have the bluish grey roofs and the clay chimneys, which are oranges.
Les toits de Paris.
Les toits de Paris.
Oh, it sounds nice. The rooftops of Paris. So, Raphael, I want to end on one tricky question, perhaps.
Sure.
Is there a particular place in Paris that you are craving, that you're desperate to get a better look at?
Yeah, it's close to Le Bon Marché, because I've seen that you can have this beautiful composition of Le Bon Marché written on the roof of the store, and behind it you have the Eiffel Tower and the golden dome of the Invalides, and the three combined is it's quite like a typical authentic view of Paris. So this one I would love to try it, but it's a tricky district because it's very fancy, so it's harder to access the buildings.
Does that mean that there are some districts or arrondissements that are easier to get up on the roof?
Definitely, yeah.
Which ones?
Close to Montmartre. Montmartre is quite easy to sneak in the buildings. The hardest being the richest districts like Passy, for example, because
in the 16th,
yeah, in the 16th, because you have the more codes in the doors. You have the concierge every time who's asking, did you come in and what are you doing?
So what you typically do is you wait for someone to come out. You walk in. You just go straight to the top via the stairs or the elevator.
Straight to we call them a chambre de bonne. Yep. So the maid's
quarters.
Yeah, exactly, because that's where you have the access to the roof.
And then you're just hoping that something's unlocked and you can climb through, basically.
Yeah, and we either have a ladder with us or hope that there is a ladder, or we just climb on each other's shoulders to reach for the roof.
And let's imagine you climb up one and you pop your head through and you go, no way, this is too steep. Does that happen? Or like, this is too scary? Or
yeah, it happens, yeah.
And then you just go, well, nah, forget it.
Yeah. Again. I mean, sometimes if it's too steep, it's just excessively dangerous.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we just go outside and hope to find another interesting place.
I got a question. How often do you go up you get into a building, you're really happy, you get to the top, and then it's closed? Does that happen like 50% of the time, 90% of the time?
No, I think it's 10% of the time.
10% of the time it's closed. So 90% of the time you can get in.
Yeah, it's really surprising. Wow. Once you get in, very often you have an access to the roof.
That's incredible.
Which is incredible, when you think about it.
Let's finish, because I know you want to take some more pictures before the sunset.
Yeah.
Let's finish with this question. There are surely people listening who will be checking out your Instagram page. What is it called again?
Raphael Metivet.
Spell it? No, I'll spell it.
Yeah, you'll spell it.
RAPHAELMETIVET. TIVET. Check him out on Instagram, but there are certainly people who will want to get a piece of your art, your photography.
Yeah, definitely. And
what's the quickest way to get you?
Just contact me on Instagram, and it happens every day. So every day I have people also from Australia. So I've already shipped to Australia, and it arrived safe and well. So that's good news.
There's the call to action, guys. Buy some of his art. It was very kind of him to take me up on the rooftop. But if you're not quite ready to buy some art, give him a follow and leave some comments and say how much you enjoyed meeting him. Raphael, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure was all mine. I hope you enjoyed the adventure on the roof.
It was very kind of you to take me up here. Let's take some photos.
Definitely.
So there you have it, Raphael Metivet, Metivet, and Raphael spelt as you probably imagined. You can find him on Instagram if you are a Patreon supporter of this show. That's to say, if you are one of the paying members who gets all the extra bonus stuff. My brother Eddie, the editor of this show, has put together a beautiful scroll with dozens of the pictures from those guys from our day up on the roof and a whole lot more. You can get that by going to patreon.com/The Earful Tower. I'm going to end talking about Patreon for a second because there are a lot of cool events coming up, and there's currently a poll going on that's raging behind closed doors of the Patreon membership group. I asked members of the 3 events that I've got planned for the next month or 2, and these are virtual events, mind you. I asked them which 2 do they want to see privately, and which one should I do for the public. So if you're listening right now and you're not a Patreon member, you're going to see one of these videos. If you're a Patreon member, you'll see all 3. So here are the 3 choices, and I'll let you know how the voting is going just to give you a taste. So the first live video will be a baking class. I've almost got it totally organized, but I'll be making something. It's not croissants, by the way, but I'll be making something with the help of one of the best rated courses in Paris and teaching everyone at home how to make it. The idea, you guys get the ingredients, I won't say, the teacher will say, and we'll all do it together, and at the end, hopefully, we come out with some beautiful food. The second is a private tour of the Montmartre vineyard. I've got access through my friends at Secret Journeys into this vineyard, which is always closed. I've never got in there before. I've always wanted to. They've invited me along, and they've said to me I can do it as a private walk or a public walk. So the jury will decide what this one will be. The third is a retro motorboat tour down the empty Seine River. The Seine is empty right now. None of those bateau mouches are going, just the occasional peniche. But me and Lena and maybe some others are going to rent. You know, what's that movie, The Talented Mr. Ripley? It's a boat just like that. We're going to rent it. We're going to go down the Seine, and the people at home are going to have the power to say, turn here. No, go closer to the Notre Dame. Go around the Ile Saint-Louis. Whatever. So I put that to the crowd. I said, vote on what you guys want to see the most. As it stands, one is clearly in the lead, second place is close behind, and third place is not so far behind. But I don't want to reveal yet the whole 1, 2, 3, but I'll tell you just winning at the moment is the baking course. So look, it's meant to be a bit of fun. 250 people have voted. I'm expecting a few more votes, so jump in there, become a patron, and watch these cool events. Link up with some like-minded Francophiles and learn how to bake, see inside a vineyard, and cruise the Seine with me. That'll do it for me. Thanks so much for listening. I'll be back on Monday with another episode as always. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this episode where we've taken the Eiffel Tower to new heights, if you'll excuse the pun. Let's see where it's going to go next. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.